everybody, and welcome to Senior Susie Stamps. Well, this week I thought I would make some strawberry cards for the nursing home because Paper Wishes sent me as a VIP gift some paper with strawberries on it. I wanted to show it to you before I cut it up. I've already cut one piece and it had these 6 cut-aparts on it and some sentiments. So I've already cut that apart, and on the back is this nice red and white gingham. But let me show you what I've done so far and show you this paper, and then I'll go get it cut up and we'll make some cards out of it. But I wanted to show you the paper. It's a nice heavyweight paper. It's not too heavy, it's just the right weight. And this is kind of a ghosted back image that's the same as what's on the front, but a little different. And here's some chocolate dipped strawberries. Don't those look good? And then on the back, another little ghosted back image. And here's another bowl of strawberries. And a really nice overall small pattern. And then there's this piece. Isn't that pretty? And an overall pattern. A little dark, but it's alright. And then I've got some cut-apart sentiments. I tried to put this on the scan and cut and cut it, and I never could get it to read the image no matter what I did. So I'll probably be fussy cutting with the ones of these that I want to have to use. And then on the back, this is kind of more of a blackberry color combination to me than strawberry, but it works well with the little bit of purple accent that's in this paper pack. So I made some little strawberries, and I don't have the white dots on these yet. I've used this white Uniball pen, which is one of my favorite white pens. The other white pen that I really like is a Jelly Roll, and they're equally nice pens. Sometimes this one kind of dries up or clogs up on me, and they're kind of expensive. So I really generally tend to stick with my little Jelly Rolls because they're always pretty consistent. Now, these I cut on my scan and cut, and I'll tell you the numbers. The name of that paper is Strawberry Delight. Put a link down below if I can find it. And on these, the berry pattern was that same egg shape that I used for Easter cards, and I just made it real small. And that number is BAA098 if you have a scan and cut with patterns. And then this other little top was just a little oval shape, and I cut it down for the top, and it was BAA061. So that made some really nice little strawberries for me. And then I made some card toppers out of some scraps from my large white scrap bin, and got them used up. For the flowers, I used this Petite Petals stamp here. And then on the leaves, and I know blackberries have jagged leaves, or strawberries have jagged leaves, but you know, sometimes the details are too much for me. But this is the stamp that I used. It's out of Floral Essence, and there's a corresponding punch with that. And I just did green on green. I have also used this old Stampin' Up! Stamp, which came from a stamp set called Dig In. I don't know how old it is, but it's kind of old. And then I used this You're Sweet stamp, and it's from Hot Fudge Studio, Hampton Arts. So it's an old stamp as well. I got these used from eBay. So, at any rate, I'll go get this paper cut up because I have a tray over here of miscellaneous card bases. Let me show it to you. And these are all the odd shaped cards that we've been looking at recently, and there's all manner of different card shapes in here. And so I thought it might kind of be fun to do some different card shapes for these cards for the nursing home, just to give them a little something for a change of pace. So I'm going to go get this card pattern paper all cut up and get ready to put together, and I'll be back probably tomorrow, but for you it'll be today. I'll see you soon. Okay, I think I've got 10 cards for us to put together today, and the first one is a gatefold, and I cut just a piece of this pattern paper to go all the way across on this one, and in order to have the pattern line up just right, I think I'm going to glue one side down and then cut it with the scissors up against the edge, because I was afraid if I cut it with my paper cutter, I might not get it quite right and I'd have to trim. And of course, you know, when you have a gatefold like this, you want it to be kind of close. I'm using Books by Hand PVA glue today. There. And that works out just fine that way. Then I can open the card up and trim it right down here like this. And then we can glue it right back together that way. And that works out pretty well on these kinds of cards. When you have a continual piece like that, where the pattern flows across. On those ones where the pattern doesn't come across, that's not a big deal at all. But on this one, you see, we wanted, no, wait a minute, come back here. Oh my gosh, on the wrong side. Oh, how did I do that? Well, fiddle-dee-dee. Well, let's just see. I'm going to let that dry now. And then we'll come back with my eraser in a few minutes. Let's just leave it alone. I'm going to rake this glue off so that I don't have whelps on my paper. Let's just see if we can get that off over on this piece over here. Well, we'll set that one aside for right now. I'm going to let that dry. These are the rest of the bits and bobs that go with that card, so I'm just going to set them over here too. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Let's do the second card. Maybe I'll do it right. Oh, you know, it's just been one of those videos. Now, there's a whole video on this card format, and we've already done that one, so I'm not going to go through it too awful much. And I can't remember what this card is called. A flip-flap or some such stuff. Well, at any rate, you'll see it going together here, but isn't that pretty? I just think this is some lovely paper. And I think the folks in the nursing home will really kind of enjoy it. And maybe they can have some strawberry shortcake to go with it and have just a little event. That would be fun. So I'm just going to glue this one down without a border. And then I'll trim off whatever I need to. Maybe just a little bit off the back here. I will link the video for this card's in the description box below. And that way, if you missed it, you can go back and check it out if you want to. There. Now, let's see, this one goes on the inside. And I always like to put this little inside piece down first before I glue the pieces together and glue it shut. And I'm not leaving any borders on this one. There. Now I'm going to put some glue on these little tabs here and close it up. And this is a pull-up card mechanism. It just floats in the center here. There we go. I'll hold that for just a second. And then you remember how this one works. Okay, so this is the bottom piece. And I think it's going to go on right like that. And then I have a little sentiment for the outside. And I'll put a little happy birthday on the inside because these are birthday cards. Speaking about the happy birthdays and these So Berry Sweet sentiments, I did those on the computer on copy paper. I went ahead with my Xyron and mounted those up onto some heavier paper so that they'd have some structure to them, because they were just too lightweight with it being that copy paper. I was thinking maybe I could use this, but it really doesn't go with that card, does it? Nope, it does not. So I was thinking something along the lines of this and letting it be that way. So very sweet. And maybe use another little strawberry on that. I had 4 little strawberries extra. Yeah, I think so. I think I'll put this one up on some foam tape. We've been having a lot of thunderstorms and bad weather here recently. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I do all of my crafting standing. Whew, and my back has been really in a snit, so I'm moving a little slow these days. And that's why this video is not on Sunday. It's Sunday with Susie on Monday or Tuesday, depending upon when I get it finished, how much I can do today. I'm not sure. But it'll come back. It always does. There. Isn't that cute? Now, do we need another one up there? I'll save it and see. I wonder about a little bow on the strawberry, maybe. Let's wait and see on that one. But anyway, I'm going to put a happy birthday on this one. And I have some little happy birthdays printed. We just do this one right across there like that. And I'm going to trim it down some at a little angle. Part of the reason that I like to put these up on some heavier weight paper is because sometimes the glue on copy paper shows through. And if that's the case, then I'll go back afterward and put a piece on top of this. And then you've got room to do a little note up there, and it closes up real nice and sweet. Okay, so that's card number 1. Let's see if we can erase these lines, whether that will work or not. Okay, it's looking like it might come off of there. So that's a little trick to keep in your little toolbox when you screw things up like what I just did. Alright, let me finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, so all that glue's gone now. And this is just this little brown rubber eraser. And I've had mine for literally years. I just don't know. Probably scrapbook.com or Amazon has just a little rubber eraser, and that's what I use to get that adhesive off. And it worked just fine. If it's dry, now if it's wet, don't touch it, just let it dry. And so I'm glad that kind of happened, because it's a good little thing to know. Okay, now Julia, get it on the right side. Oh, I hope you all don't have trouble with your cards when you make them like I do with mine. All right, now we're going to snuggle that one right up there so that it matches there. Now that's what I wanted to see. Yay! And then I have this little heart that I thought would be pretty on here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down to 1/2 of the card, because it's a gatefold card. There we go. I thought about putting some color on that heart, but I just decided I didn't want to do that. And then I'm going to put this little banner, and maybe we'll have it kind of go in line with these little squares. You're sweet. All right, let's do it. There. I'll hold that for it to dry. And that card is pretty well finished, except for a little sentiment on the inside, and I'm going to stamp that one. Isn't that cute with those little embellishments? I think I like that. Now, you could put a red dashed line around the heart if you wanted to. I'm just going to run it like this. So there's card number 2. Okay, let's look at this one. This is a 4¼ by 6" card base, which goes in a photo envelope. And I thought it would be a good use of this piece because it was 4 by 5½. And I need to trim just a little bit off of that. It had a black line around it, and I'm going to take that off because I didn't want it on this card, because there isn't any other black on this card anywhere so far. Paper Wishes does a little micro perf, and I usually try to just trim that off. They put 2 pages together with a tiny little micro perf, and it's never a problem, and you can usually just trim it just a little tiny slice like that off, and it will work just fine that way. Okay, let's see what this looks like. That needs a little bit of color in there, doesn't it? Something to go up underneath there. Let me see what I can find. I'll be right back. So this piece I made with a little 2" scallop, and I happen to have a 2¼ scallop punch, so I'm just going to cut a piece of this darker paper and back that with that, and we'll see how that looks inside of this circle here. That kind of makes it stand out just a little bit better, doesn't it? I think I'll put that up on foam just for a little dimension, and then we'll see how it looks. I tried to do some paper piercing for the strawberry seeds and then back it with white. I didn't think that showed up nearly as nicely as the little white pen did, so I only did that once, and this is that card. Okay, so now if we do the little So Berry Sweet up underneath like that, that works, doesn't it? Yay! Okay, let's glue her down. It's kind of nice having different sized card bases on a project like this because it makes the cards kind of all different, a little bit unique perhaps. And that way they don't all look the same when they go to the nursing home for their little writing project. And I'm going to glue this down flat in the middle of that white circle. And I'm having my little ribbon banner come up off the top of this, kind of at a little angle. And then I'll have the sentiment come across at an angle as well, like that. Okay, here we go. There. There's card done. All right, we're making progress. Yay! Now, let's see what this one is. Oh, I was going to stamp on the inside of that one, so okay, let's see. All right, this one is going on the inside, and again, it's got that little black edge. I'm going to trim that off right quick. Sometimes I find it challenging to use these little cut-aparts that are on, they're not A2 sized to me, and but I have found that sometimes you can put them on the inside of the card and they work just fine. So that's what we're doing with this one. And you still get the strawberry theme. You can put your happy birthday on, and you can sign it on top of the little dots. Let's do it like that. Just as kind of a little banner. And then the front, I'm going to do it this way. And I just cut that a 1/4 inch smaller. So it was 4 by 5 3/4. And then I had this little leftover piece. And I'm going to put that right there as a layer. And by making these embellishments ahead of time, these cards are really, really simple to put together. So if you have a project like this where you're making cards for donation and you have a theme like this, sometimes it really is to your benefit to make some embellishments ahead of time. I think we'll do kind of something like that and maybe elevate this little sentiment. Possibly put a ribbon on that. I don't know. Let's look and see. It's already got this gingham, and a piece of red and white twine might just be exactly what that needs. I cut all my own foam. I haven't mentioned that in a long time, but I use 1-inch wide foam. And on the back of my cards, I've got an Avery sticker that I put on all of them, and then I use that release paper off of that Avery sticker to mount my foam up on where it releases easily. And I'm going to put this up on some foam as well. That way I can kind of custom cut my foam, and I don't have to pull so many little tiny pieces of release paper off like you do with the dimensionals from Stampin' Up! Or what other brand you use. And, well, that might work kind of in that way, wouldn't it? Let's see. Kind of reshape my bow a little bit. Now I tied this with my 10-second bow maker, and those of you who have been watching this channel for a while have seen me do that several times, because it is a wonderful bow maker for people like me that cannot tie bows easily or well. I'm just going to roll this little glue dot right there because it is a tiny little bow. And I'm going to put that, I'm just going to put that right there. There. That's a sweet little card. And it's finished on the inside. Yay! Alright, let's see what else we got. This is another one. I think this one might be a standard A2. Yep, this is a standard A2 size, because this piece of paper had such lovely artwork. I just wanted to let it do all the work for me and make just a simple, straightforward A2 size card with it. And then I'll stamp the inside with Happy Birthday sentiment. And I cut this to cover the entire card base. This has a little ladybug right there and a little white and gray butterfly. And I might try to play off of that a little bit at some later date. But for right now, I think this finishes that card very, very nicely. Okay, let's see. This has a black edge around it, and I'm going to go ahead and black all 4 edges on that just so it'll stand out a little bit on this card front. This came from the cut-aparts in this paper pack. And I think I'm going to put that down flat and then maybe elevate my little embellishment here. A note for sweet you. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, I'm going to elevate this up on a little piece of foam. And then it looks like the next one is a shaped fold card. So let's look at it next. And then I'll trim the tips of those leaves off from the back side. And trim this piece back also. And trim this one. There. And that card's done. Boy, this paper really made it easy, didn't it? Alright, let's look at this one. This is a shaped card. And I cut this piece to go inside. These card bases I cut on my Scan and Cut, and there's a video about them on the channel as well. I really enjoy making this card, and it always gets rave reviews. So I'd encourage you to go look up that video if you haven't seen it already, especially if you have a Scan and Cut, because they're so easy. It's an octagonal pattern, which is 8-sided. And I'm using the front and the back of this paper because the back side was kind of muted down on the same basic pattern as the front. A little different, but basically the same. And so I'm going to glue this up like this. There we go, right like that. So I'm only going to put glue on this half. Then I'm going to flatten it down and make sure I get the side going to the top that I want. There we go, right like that. And then on this one, because my little embellishment is just a little bit too big, I'm going to butt that up against this side over here where it will hang out in this kind of negative space over here and be all right for my envelope, which is a standard A2 size envelope. Okay, let me go ahead and put some foam on this. And that card's done. What about a little bow? Maybe? 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 Yeah, maybe. I will put a little oval-shaped happy birthday in here. I didn't get it done when I was cutting stuff for these cards, but that's what there'll be. A little white with red ink happy birthday in there in an oval. Do you have any favorite strawberry recipes? My grandmother used to make the best, I kid you not, the best strawberry shortcake. And she made a sweet biscuit that was about this big, and she'd make a couple of them. And then she'd cut them in half with a serrated knife, and she'd put strawberries that had been sliced and mixed with sugar on there, and she'd make it 4 layers so it would stand up about this tall. And she made real whipped cream. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how good that was. It was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, this one's got that black edge. We're going to trim that off. And actually, I think I might black the whole thing and black this because the sentiment on that is black, and it will add just a little differential between this and the white card base, since there is a border around that. There. And then I think we'll do this one. And I cut these little octagonal shapes on my Scan and Cut. I just resized the cut and put in whatever piece of paper I wanted and used that tool to help me with these cards, and it was so easy to do. If you haven't figured it out, I'm not real keen on die cutting. I do it, but I have all machines and all that stuff, but I just don't like doing it. I don't know why. Some people, you know, they die cut and they make all these shapes and yada yada yada, and I think, whew, and it just is not my cup of tea at all. Now, I know this is a little weird, but I thought it might kind of be an interesting little backdrop for this little piece here, especially if we kind of wrap that sentiment back around. So that's what I wanted to kind of do first, and I think that's about where I want it. And then I'm just going to turn this back like it was a little ribbon wrap around, and put some more glue on the back side here so that it'll hold well. Give it just a second to dry. I'm going to put this up on some foam tape now that we've got the ribbon wrapped on it, and I'm going to put this up on some foam tape also. There. Right like that, and this little glue dot, and that card's finished, and I'll stamp the inside. Alright, let's keep working on here. This one is going to be a top fold landscape. And it's a little short here because these were 4 inches. And so I thought I would put that on and then trim that back just as a little interest on this piece. So let me get that done. I may use a little decorative edge scissor because I think that would be cute. This had a little blemish on it, so I thought I would cut that little piece right there. And then this little piece right here will go down there. And I think that'll finish that card nicely. Let's do a little small curve. The thing I've learned with these little decorative edge scissors is not to cut all the way to the end. Stop short and just back yourself up and cut again. It seems to work better for me. Your scissors may be a little sharper than mine, but these little guys have been through the ringer. They've been around for a long time. Okay. I get my borders kind of as close to the same as I possibly can. And I'm going to elevate this up on a piece of foam tape. And that was just a little bit too big. And I'm going to try to get these 3 borders here about the same, just for continuity's sake. There we go. All right, card's done. Isn't that cute? And then I'll put a happy birthday stamp on the inside of that one. All right, we're down to 2. Hang with me. Don't go away, because these are cute. All right, this is another little easel card. And I've gone ahead and cut the inside because you have to kind of cut it a little short on the top edge with these because of the way they were welded together. So I'll get that done. And then I'll glue this down. And it completely covers the top. That's one nice thing about having the skin and cut it. It does a very nice, accurate cut. Okay, and again, I'm going to only glue the bottom portion of this top because this is a easel fold card, and I want it to go this way, like that. And I'll tell you why in just a second. It's because the pattern on the inside of the card goes that way, and so when you fold it up, then you've got continuity of pattern. That was the only thing there. And on this one, I'll try to do the same thing. I think I left a little white border on this. Oh, I did, yes. There we go. And then we'll just glue that right down like that. And we'll be on to our next card. And again, I'm just going to put a little oval happy birthday. Make sure I get this going the right way here. I'm going to put a little oval happy birthday sentiment on the inside, and that'll be the little stopper for it to stand up with. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to glue this down flat. Go that way with it. That way I can come in perpendicular maybe with So Berry Sweet. That's it. Do you struggle sometimes? I know I do. Okay, let's see. I wonder about... That might be too much. That's too much, isn't it? How about this one? Yeah, I think this is good enough. And so then when it opens, I'll have a little happy birthday and maybe some of that green paper underneath of it in a little scallop edge. That'd be nice. Okay, let's look at this last one. The last one. Are y'all still with me? I hope so. This is about the same basic thing we've been doing. Just a little different outcome. And when I trim these back from that score line there so that it won't have any trouble folding. All right. And just a little glue on this side here. There we go. And then the same thing with this one. The little white border. And I think we'll have it come up like this, down flat. And try to make it parallel here so that it looks right. And then I'll glue this one down so that these strawberries that are in the back are just kind of a continuation of these on the front. And there we are. And I do think I'll put a little bow on that one. Those little glue dots are wonderful, aren't they? I'm so glad that we have those to work with. All right, and then when it opens up, there we are. And I think I'll do a little red scallop background, black ink, happy birthday on a white border, on a white oval there, and it'll be done. So I hope you've enjoyed these cards. Let me show them to you again, because they're cute. And I still have a few little odds and ends here that I can add onto the inside. But here they are. Maybe I can get those to stand up. Or maybe not. Well, here they are. I like the way that one wrapped around it. So very sweet. Here we are. Well, I know it's a tough one, but if you've got a favorite, let me know. I'd be interested to know. Isn't that pretty? Let's see. Come on, you move over there. Make some room for your sisters. And then this one opens up like that. So there they all are. Well, I hope y'all have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Maybe it'll be Sunday next time instead of Monday or Tuesday. Bye-bye, y'all.